good morning, good evening. This is, well, either way, this is Lazy Mini Painting. Hello, and I'm Laz. Thank you for coming to join me. I think I've gone a little bit early by about a few seconds. So I'm just going to hold fire for a minute and do the noisy bit. Let's just the noisy bit, which is all the crinkly paper. Let's get rid of that. We don't want that. It makes too much noise. Today we have. I'm not even got ready yet, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till actually past. I'm actually going to wait till past. Just do a bit of finicky and round on the bits. Good morning, Twisted. Good morning. All right, it is 10 o'clock now. Excellent, so I can get started. So hello again. Today is issue 36 of Combat Patrol. Last week I realised I labelled it wrong. I labelled it 34 as Havocs Part 1, but it's not. It's issue 35, and this one's Havocs Part 2, which is issue 36. As you can see, we got some very big bases. So normally standard Marini type guys, 32mm bases. You could even go down a bit further to the 28mm or even a 25mm, just to show you the lots of different sizes of bases. So these ones come on these big whopping things. I thought they was going to come on these, but they didn't, which has thrown all my plans completely out the freaking window. Oh, joy of joys. So shift them to over there a minute, because they're spare bases. It's nice to have spares sometimes. But we get nice 40mm. At least I think they're 40mm. And it just says Havocs. Yeah, 40mm bases instead of the 32, the 28, or the 25. I don't know. Why can't they just keep reasonable size bases? I don't know. But I've had a look at this sprue that we get today. And on this sprue, we do get a couple of nice heads. And we do get all the missing pieces from last week's episode where we could put them all together. So now you've got the rest of the sprue to put them all together as Havocs, if you wish. Having looked through my spare sprues and what I have available and what I have that I can use, I can't turn these into berserkers because there's only 5, and they now come in minimums of 10 since the codex got released Saturday, just gone. So yeah, they now come in minimum units of 10 or 20. So having 5 is no use anymore. But they do have another nice unit that I don't have, and they're called 8-bound. But they are considerably bigger than the Havocs, and they have more fleshy bits and stuff sticking out of their arms and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff to make them look semi-possessed. So I think that's what I'm going to do with my Havocs. I'm going to convert them into 8-bound. How? I don't know yet. Initially, my idea was a few spare orc parts to give the fleshy arms and give them big bulky muscles. But then I realised how much for the legs. So I'd have to do something for that. It's all well and good having the arms and having the blades coming out the backs and stuff, but if the legs look dumpy, little stumpy things, then it's not going to look bad. So I will be trying to figure out how to convert Havocs into 8-bound. The good thing is, though, if I change my mind again, I do have an absolute shed load of spare demony bits from the Conquest magazine when you got the Death Guard. So I have some spawny bits as well as the extra chaos bits that I've had left over from the Legionnaire sprues and whatever's left from the other bits that I had in the past. So from the Kill Team box. That's what I'll be using to turn these 5. The light's glaring. These 5 guys into 8-bound. Because I don't want any standard Chaos Marines. I want World Eaters. So if you followed last week and you've still got the magazine, that shows you how to put all the Havocs together if you're running Chaos, which is perfectly acceptable. It's actually what they want you to do if you're following their guides. I did get my glue ready just in case, but apparently I'm not going to need it today. So let's see where Combat Patrol 36 does. It's Havocs Part 2, so it's going to tell us how to paint them this time, because it showed us how to build them last time. The engine of the Damned, and then we're going to be covering Zinch as well. Ooh, so changer of ways. So let's see how it wants to see. Paint. First section, paint your Havocs. Loads of different bits to read, including Bonds of Honor Part 9, so please read that. That's going to be the story section. And then for the play, we get data sheets, and big guns never tire, because we do have heavy weapons now. Hopefully we'll also be getting the data sheet for Hellblade. That'd be nice. That's coming in the next 2 issues. So to paint, as normal, paint everything black. Everything black first. Then find all your metal bits. So in this case, get it into a better position. So in this case, the chainmail sections and the chains, if they've got little loinclothy bits that are made of metal. Any of the backpack piping and grates, as well as weapons, ammunition, and the little small sections around the mouth, and the little pipes coming around there. Get those as well. All them in lead belcher. Then, because they want Black Legion, every little bit of trim. So all the bits around the shoulder pads, greaves, these little raised areas on the weapons, all Retributor armor, all gold, every bit. Then then it's Mephisto red for any hair pieces and eyes. They are really, really difficult, so be careful with the eyes. You can really overdo it and just end up with a big splodge. Doesn't look good. And next, it is Wraithbone. So they want all skulls, all teeth, or potentially fangs, which is like they've done here. There's some little teeth on the shoulder pads that they've painted in Wraithbone. Flesh as well. And then it changes to Corax White. Of course it does. In this case, it's giving you a base coat more for the missiles on the missile launcher. So that'll be the ones in the actual magazine that's in the top of the missile launcher, the ones in the backpack, and if there's any coming around on a belt or being fed from like the top of the arm there. Paint all those white. Corax White, which is really grey actually. Bloody awful white. Base coat then with Rakkar Flesh, where the corrugated pipes show through. So, right, okay. So on these ones where basically you've got what is essentially a wire, but bits of the outer casing have come off and you can see the wire inside. So they've done all the inside silver, but the actual casing they've done in Rakkar Flesh. And then base coat missiles with a bad and black, adding stripes for both the missiles in the backpack and the missiles in the launcher. So this is really difficult, this bit. You can see that in the missiles, they've got a tip, and an extra section, and a middle section, and a back section. They're saying paint like the middle section and the back section black. On all the missiles, including, as they said, the ones in the launcher and the backpack. So get all them right. That's a lot of painting. Because they're going to want you to do this on all of them. The Legionnaires that you got over the last 2 weeks and the Havocs. Hopefully you've already done the Legionnaires by this point. Then good old one coat of Null Nile over pretty much the entire model. So that's all the silver places, all the black places, all the grey places, even the red hair in this case. Everything gets done in Null Nile. Then you come to the bone areas, the Earthshade, the Rakkar Flesh areas. Is it? bone areas and Rakarth flesh, which are the pipes. So the pipes and the bone areas get the Agrax Earthshade to give it more of a bony colour. Add to the recesses, essentially give you shading. Then the Rakarth flesh wash is going to go over faces and skin and over any of the gold pieces. There is lots of gold pieces. I'll show you now. There's friggin' loads. So all these gold trim bits, all of them need the Rakarth flesh. And that'll be your base colours for your Chaos army. It's going to be black and gold. It's going to be that. That is what they want you to do as a Black Legion army. Chaos Undivided, essentially. And you do get some nice weapons, las cannons, heavy bolters, missile launchers, and that gun I don't think is as powerful as it should be. That one should definitely have an AP on it. I don't care how many shots you give it. Give at least 1 AP, please. It'll make it a lot better. Well, that is roughly what your 5-man Havoc unit should look like, with the Sergeant, the plasma gun, and chainsword. It shows you that. It's not painted the plasma section in yet, but we will get around to that when it gives us the actual paints. The missile launcher dude, making sure that you get all the missiles with the black sections and the Korax white grey sections. Again, not forgetting that the flesh tones go on to the pipes where it's been still there and the broken bits are now silver underneath. And I'll give you your missile launcher. Down here is your las cannon guy. Now, they all seem to have one big red eye for targeting. That's going to be easier to paint than the little tiny one next to it. Your heavy bolter, which is a good chunk of it is silver and does have some flesh around the top of his head if you've used that head there. So that'll be done similar to this chap's face. And again, with the pipes that have been worn through. Is it a Gatling cannon? I can't remember what it's called now. It told us last time, I know that, but I can't remember right now. Again, mostly silver. There are a few teeth on it down at the bottom there, so you will have to get the Agrax on there as well once you've coated it. And there's lots of little areas that it's just a tiny dot of wash. It's easy enough to do. You just got to take your time and be patient. So that's the painting section done, because obviously I'm not putting them together, so I'm also not painting them. So it's a bit of a pain. Do I have a spare? I put them all away. I did have spare Chaos Marines to do this with, but I've put them all away. Like an idiot. So I could have actually shown you how to do it if I could find one. Nope, you're already painted as a World Eater. Sorry, a Word Bearer. You're painted as a Night Lord. That's not going to help. Okay, seeing as I just shot myself in the foot with that section, I believe we should move on. I mean, it's fairly simple if you follow the step-by-step process on how to paint them. And just, as I said, be careful and make sure you go through the model properly. What on earth is going on with my phone? Don't care about that. That can go away. What's this stuff that is? Oh, he's telling me I'm live, people. He's telling me I'm live. Not that I'd ever be able to tell by the fact that it's got little numbers going down there and all sorts. No, I'll never be able to tell out of that. But yeah, I'm going live, apparently. My phone just told me. So let's just have a quick check that it is working like it's supposed to. Yes, it is. Excellent. That's okay. Good morning, Graham. Good morning. You've already got this edition, haven't you? The Havocs. Oh, man. Have you painted all yours up in black and gold? Like they are wanting you to? Or are you going to do what I do and put it to one side and go, no, I'm going to customize it all myself? Oh, liquids. Need liquids. I know, I'm talking 40k. I've got a Star Wars cup. how geeky do you want to be? I suppose I could have an anime t-shirt on as well. That would do it. So the first war section we get to are Engines of the Damned. Now these are all the like Hell Brutes, Hell Drakes, Lord of Skulls, Mauler Fiends, Forge Fiends. I can Defilers. I can never remember what them. Oh, Venom Crawlers. That's what they're called. They're Venom Crawlers. It's in the loft like the rest of it. Oh, come on, man! You could catch up easy enough. You could catch up. I mean, I've still got Tyranids to do. So with the demon engines, this is basically you can run the equivalent of a where we put the codexes. Where we put the codexes. They're all the way over there. Good morning, Lee. Fair enough. If you want to come steaming through with a sledgehammer, mate, that's fine. Just make sure you take your loft out before you come for my setup. So, Engines of the Damned. Demon engines are nightmarish amalgams of flesh and metal. They are animated by warp energies and are among the most feared weapons in the Chaos Space Marine armory. We're going to be getting some. That sounds really a bit too much excited about that, isn't it? I'm mostly a loyalist player, but I'm really excited about getting Chaos Demon Engines. Demon Engines are colossal machines of war that are imbued with demonic energy. The creation of these monstrosities is a dark secret of the Chaos Space Marines, known only to the Brotherhood of Warpsmiths. That's the Chaos equivalent to a Tech Marine. Deep in the soul forges in the Immaterium, they use profane rituals to bind screaming demons and force them into the great rune-marked hulls of their infernal machines. These blasphemous creations are then turned loose onto the battlefield to unleash unthinkable violence on the foes of the Chaos Space Marines. Yeah, pretty nice. Pretty nice. Slaughter. Just slaughter. That's all they do. So astonishing is the torment of the spirits within that they gladly turn their fury on anyone in their path, channeling their malevolence into acts of utmost brutality. That just makes you want to. They seem all huggy, don't they, when you make them sound like that? Yeah, that might take a while then, Twisted. If you're going to clear your backlog before, if you got this and then clear your backlog before you started painting these, yeah, it'll take you a while. But then again, you've only just started over there, I believe. So I think it's like issue 7 you're up to. So it's not too bad, really. And a lot of the earlier issues are push fit and easy build, so it's not too bad. Yeah, I know. I'm still gutted I'm missing issue 26. I know I have a Wraith Lord, but I would have liked to. If I would have got a second Wraith Lord, I wouldn't be doing my converted Triceratops into a Fire Prism, which I've not even started yet. In this little bit, we're going to tell about Warpsmiths. As I said, they are the equivalent to Tech Marines, or they're the ones who hobble together all the demon engines and trap the demons inside. Warpsmiths are the infernal artisans who create and maintain the corrupted engines and vehicles in a Chaos Space Marine army. They ply their trade even in the heart of battle and are well equipped to defend themselves. Along with conventional weapons such as plasma pistols and axes, a Warpsmith is outfitted with a writhing set of semi-sentient macatendrils. Yeah, they couldn't have just called them tendrils, could they? No, these are macatendrils. Or mechatendrils that act like additional arms. So a servo harness then. They can use these to strike at enemies or rip open the control panels of machines in order to corrupt their code. You can see him there. He's got his whopping big axe, plasma pistol, and then these are the little tendrily bits that they were talking about. They usually have additional rules for those tendrils. Some have ranged attacks, some can make additional melee attacks. That's generally how they work out. See, that's not a bad idea. That so once you finish Graham, once you finish like Titus, then one unit of like a couple of issues of combat patrol, one big Primarch, a couple of issues of combat patrol, the units go with it. A few more issues, next Primarch. You'll work your way through slowly without getting yourself burnt out. What's the next page? Next page is telling us about a couple of the actual demon engines. So the first one we will get telling us about is the Forge Fiend. This is the range variant of the Fiend, which I think we get that with the World Eaters towards the end of the run of the magazine. You've just got too many models, Twisted. You've got more than me, and I've got nearly 1,000. So, Forge Fiends. Forge Fiends are gigantic demon constructs that loom menacingly on their hind legs, pouncing and leaping like wild animals. Many have been seen armed with multiple cannons that spew flesh-melting ectoplasma, but there are also frightful rumors of them using their jaws and claws to bite and rip enemy soldiers into bloody pieces. Their armored bodies resist enemy fire so well that they are often bound straight into the heart of battle, heedless of any attempt to stop them. Despite the fact that they've got pretty much 2 plasma cannons strapped to them, they bound forward and try and beat things up. That doesn't make sense. Stick them back and make them shoot if you've got them with the range stuff. The Mauler Fiends, on the other hand, the fact that it's got Maul in it kind of indicates it doesn't want to shoot as much as the other one. So Mauler Fiend's taking the form of a twisted, crouched beast, and Mauler Fiend is driven forward by an unnatural lust for carnage. Capable of traversing the harshest terrains with ease, and even scaling formidable defenses, these mechanical predators will stop at nothing to reach their tag. Once in battle, they lash out at enemies with their steel tendrils, shredding soldiers to ribbons. When facing enemy vehicles, they deploy magma cutters, easily slicing through to the crew within, who are murdered with glee. Oh, such a nice way of putting it. Yeah, Forge Fiends and Mauler Fiends, they do just have that extra oomph behind them to make them go, yeah, they're a big kick-ass. Don't get me wrong, the Hellbrutes look good. The Mauler Fiends look better. Oh, I forgot about this fella. This fella came out a while ago, and he's called the Lord's Discordant. A Lord Discordant is a heretic who is obsessed with demon-possessed machines that he takes to battle and mounted atop a custom Hellstalker, which is this nice big thing, huge tail. I think that's a heavy stubber on the top there, and lots of weapons around the front of it, so he can get in at melee close combat. And obviously, he's got a whopping great big huge chain glaive, so definitely wants to be in close quarters, a little bit of range, so he can shoot you on his way. The Lord Discordant's affinity with the twisted and the demonic runs so deeply that normal machines malfunction and fail in their presence. Where he can, the Lord Discordant siphons the spirit energy from enemy machinery to replenish that of his own army, or else to use in vile rituals that spread the impurity of his own creations to the enemy's war engines. So not too good if you're running a dreadnought army then. He'll be good against that. He likes killing machines. What can I say? Venom Crawlers. Now these are the ones that I don't think we'll be getting one of these. I think we got one. If you got the last Combat Patrol, not the Combat Patrol, Hachette Part Works, I think you would have got a Venom Crawler in that, but you didn't get the Lord Discordant. A Venom Crawler is a repulsive machine that takes the form of a giant scuttling arachnid. It hungers for the dead, whose body it rips to pieces, feasting on their souls. Once it has flayed a corpse, the venom crawler draws the life essence into its iron belly, but if there are not enough of the slain to sate its appetite, the venom crawler goes on the hunt. With its tendrils lashing and excruciator cannons firing. Excruciator. Jeez. I mean, these names to make things sound like they're going to hurt, but calling it an excruciator cannon is a bit much, don't you think? So, yeah. With its tendrils lashing and its excruciator cannons firing, it is not long before the bodies are piled high and the venom crawler can gorge itself once more. That just sounds nasty. And even looking at the picture of it there, you can see the big spider-like mouth, multiple eyes. It's a mechanical version of the psychophage, essentially. So you remember what the psychophage looked like? Big backside, really nasty front. Same thing. Big backside, really nasty front. They don't look happy, do they? Fairness, neither would I if I was forced into something like that. Then we have the iconic Defilers. Now, if you've ever played Dawn of War, the first one, which is many, many years old now, you will recognize these. These have been around for ages. They've been pretty much the staple machine for Chaos for quite a few years. At least since about 5th edition, as far as I know, they was put in. And then, yeah, they've never left since because they look looking great. They're massive, but they look great. You're not hiding it very easily, I know that much. Defilers are a huge arcane machine of death that stomps across any terrain to blast, slice, or smash anyone who dares to get in its way. Raised up on 6 hydraulic legs, these strange engines tower above even superhuman space marines and can slice them in half, armor and all. Everything just... They are brutally equipped and can choose to crush an enemy soldier into dirt, blast them with cannon shot, rip them apart with wicked pincers, or flay them to their bones with writhing scourge tendrils. So you got your big cannon, your little cannons, your tendrils, your big crushy claws, and your stompy feet. Lots of ways to make sure that the enemy's not there anymore. Then you get the Flyer, the other version. Now, I'm not sure how strong these are in like 10th edition. I know they were a pain to deal with in 9th, and 8th wasn't too much better, to be quite honest. They were a nightmare. They just cut through units and not much could get up to them. So it was a bit of a pain for that. But a Helldrake is a gigantic demon engine that soars through the skies like a mechanical dragon. And that is pretty much what it looks like, a huge metal dragon. Possessed of its own vicious intelligence, this metal beast needs no crew and no directions. It can engage with enemy aircraft, tackling them mid-flight and ripping them to pieces with its claws. It is also capable of swooping down on unfortunate soldiers on the ground beneath, rending and tearing at them before unleashing torrents of searing bale flame, turning them to dust and ashes even as they try to flee. So yeah, he's got a nice range attack, but for a flyer, he's got really good melee, which is strange. No worries, you have fun at the shop and hope you can get something nice. So reading section F, the Warp 6. Now this has got to cover Tzeentch. One of the great chaos powers, Tzeentch is known as the Changer of Ways, the Architect of Fate, and the Weaver of Destinies. So, great big know-it-all. It's another way of putting it. Tzeentch is the Chaos God of Change, and he is known by thousands of different names and titles across the galaxy. His followers depict him as an incomprehensible figure, his burning eyes in a sunken face surrounded by horns, and his skin crawling with mocking faces that repeat his words in chorus. None can truly fathom his plans, nor understand his purpose, save that he delights in manipulating the fates and toying with creation to further his own arcane designs. Yeah, that sounds like a master manipulator. Often, his powers spill out from the warp into real space, the resultant rifts marked by psychic explosions and mutagenic power. The cults and demons that follow Tzeentch are many, from whole armies of Chaos Space Marines to tiny groups of cultists on worlds in the far reaches of the galaxy. Their purposes are unfathomable, and only Tzeentch truly knows the method behind the madness, for he sits like a spider in the center of his web of complex schemes. Yeah, he's a bit of a git, is one way of putting it. Definitely a bit of a git. But when it comes to magic or psychic energies, Tzeentch's followers are the ones that you want. So if you want lots of psychic attacks, go for something like the Thousand Suns. Thousand Suns, pretty much every unit is a psycho in one way or another. Even if it's just, it can only cast Smite. At least it's Smite. It can do mortal wounds. It can do devastating wounds. It's not bad at all. And they like range, like the total opposite of the World Eaters. World Eaters run up and just smash it. Ding, 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 ding. These will think, stay back, shoot, wait till you get close, burn you. Then when you get even closer, then smack, 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 smack. But they'll at least shoot you first. A few of the units for Tzeentch, even though we will not be getting any of these, you can still buy them though from the Games Workshop web store or third-party retailers if you are like me and don't like paying full retail. So the main unit for Tzeentch are his greater demons. In this case, are the Laws of Change. A Lord of Change is one of the greatest demons of Tzeentch. Shimmering with magic, they bring mutable powers of Tzeentch to the battlefield, hurling spells and curses from their enchanted staves. And that's this fella here, essentially a giant beak head, giant bird head, huge pair of wings, massive staff. He stands about the same size as Lavras, maybe a bit bigger in total, so he's quite a big boy. Definitely stands the same size as Magnus. So you're looking like 7 inches, 8 inches tall. These are big models. The Screamers of Tzeentch. Screamers flash through the air, letting out wild screeches. When they sight an enemy, they descend in a flurry of teeth and claws. And that's these things that look like seriously fucked up stingrays. I mean, seriously, even Steve Irwin wouldn't have gone near them. These just, nope, keep me away. The Heralds of Tzeentch. This was even being on a floating disc being pulled by 2 of them. He's definitely a bit of an angry man. In the armies that follow Tzeentch, weird demons ride levitating discs into battle from which they can chant spells and curses. Which is why he's got a book in his hand. And he's being dragged along by 2 of those on a flying disc. Now, this is the one that I want. Or I wanted, but I never got around to getting. And that's a Mutalith Vortex Beast. And just the picture alone, you can see great big warp energy focus thing on his back. Lots of nice little tentacles and tendrils, and some great big whopping claws. So a Mutalith Vortex Beast is a huge mutated creature whose body is flooded with the strange powers of Tzeentch. Oh, is that his only description? Could give it a bit more than that. Even I've said that's giving it a big warp focal lens on his back. allowing it to project the warp energies. Just a little bit there at the bottom. They could have put that in. Lazy. And I'm saying it. I'm lazy mini painting, for Christ's sake. The reading section, Bonds of Honor Part 9. I've not read the rest of it, so please, if you have, take the time to read these stories. They are good stories, and they do give you a good insight into the lore and the background behind some of the units and chapters that you'll be playing. Yeah, it is one of the... It is a good miniature, isn't it? That useless warp beast. It is absolutely fantastic. So read through that story because it's fun, and I don't want to spoil it for you by reading it out in my dulcet tones. Now he's going to tell us about core rules and data sheets. So how do we read a data sheet? Each unit has a data sheet that lists the characteristics, war gear, abilities, and keywords of its models. This section presents a summary of these elements and how they are related to playing the game. So this is an example data sheet. Quite literally, it says even there, example data sheet. So that'll be the name of the unit. Next comes their stat line, the actual unit stat line. So it'll have the movement, toughness, save. Sometimes it'll have an extra number underneath, like a little shield underneath the save there, where it'll be an invulnerable save. The amount of wounds the model's got. What you would need on a leadership test to see if you're battle shocked. And the amount of objective control that each model in that unit has. So in this case, if it's a 5 model unit, it'll be a total of objective controlling of 5. Each one has OC1. 3 will give you the abilities and keywords. So in this case, it's listed core abilities as Deep Strike, Faction, Angels of Death, Rites of Battle, Aura. When a friendly Adeptus Astartes core unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. It's a very, very odd character that he's given us an example of, but actually I'm not even sure what that is. In this case, he's put the invulnerable save there. A lot of the time it will put it under there as well, just to make it easier for you to reference. 4 is the weapons. So in this case, it'll give us the example weapon, pistol, 12 inches range, D3 attacks, hits on 2 pluses, strength 4, -1 AP, damage 1. Not a bad pistol, actually. And example range weapon number 2 is keyword rapid fire 1, 24-inch range, 2 attacks, that's a straight 24. If you get within 12, it becomes 3 because of that rapid fire 1. Again, hitting on 2s, strength 4, no AP this time, and 1 damage. Then we get the example melee weapon. Melee is his range. Basically, you've got to be right up in the face. You're going to hit them with it, you're not shooting them. So bang, bang, bang. Or stabby, stabby, whichever one you've got. 4 attacks in this case. Hitting on 2 pluses with a strength of 4, -3 AP, and 1 damage. It's not going to do a great deal, really. He's not going to do much unless you're fighting low-grade infantry, but you should get through them quite easily. Number 5, it's got Terminator keyword. That's why. Okay. It gives you the keyword. So in this case, for the example, it's got Imperium, Infantry, Character, and Terminator. So this is, I'm guessing, I'm not sure what that is. Is that a lieutenant in Terminator armor? Are we getting a lieutenant in Terminator armor soon? Oh, I hope so. Please say that comes in the new starter box. The second part of the example data sheet will give you war gear and unit composition. So section 6 here tells you the unit comprises of 1 Space Marine Sergeant and between 4 and 9 Space Marines, every model is equipped with a bolt pistol and bolt gun. So I'm guessing are those two profiles there. Number 7 is, options that you can change out within the unit. So in this case, the sergeant's bolt pistol can be changed with a weapon from the pistols list, which they don't have a pistols list anymore. A weapon from the melee weapons list. They don't have the melee weapons list anymore. They usually just list them on the actual section there. Most of the time it's going to be a plasma pistol for the pistol swap out. Melee weapons are usually either the second lightning claw, a power sword, a thunder hammer, or even a chainsword if you want to go down that route. But you can also change out the sergeant's bolt gun. So again, you can change it for either a combi weapon, which has a single stat line now. You don't get bolter and X, whether you're plasma, melter, flamer, whatever the other combi part was. You just get a straight stat line now and it gives you anti-infantry 2+, I believe. You can change his bolter from something else from the pistol list. So you could have him dual wielding plasma pistols if you wanted to. And one weapon from the melee list. Again, as I said, you can give him 2 lightning claws, a hammer, and a sword. So you give him some more versatility. The sword being able to take out infantry, the hammer to hit something more like elite terminators or even vehicles. Good morning, Alia. Hope you're doing well today. Then again here, it goes on to more about the actual unit. If this unit contains 9 or fewer models, one Space Marines bolt gun can replace with one of the following: either a heavy weapon or a special weapon. If it contains 10, then you get a special weapon and a heavy weapon. It's not a bad idea. So that's like the tactical squads. Usually the sergeant will get a power sword, plasma gun, something like that, or plasma pistol in this case. And then one of the Marines in the unit will get a better gun, melt gun, plasma gun, flame, or something along the special weapon line. And one will get either a las cannon, a heavy bolter, a missile launcher, a plasma cannon instead of a plasma gun, and that'll be your heavy weapon. So there are lots of things that you will need to read up, especially on full data sheets rather than the quick combat patrol ones that they give us earlier. That has literally just gone through everything that I've just told you. I jumped ahead of the page, except for this section here. So, leadership tests. If a rule requires you to take a leadership test for the unit, roll 2d6. If the total is greater than or equal to the best leadership characteristic in the unit, then that unit's test is classified as passed. Otherwise, it has failed and now becomes battle shocked. So it becomes OC0, can't score objectives, can't score secondaries. Not particular. I think they had to lose some abilities as well. Random characteristics, such as the D3 shots from the pistol that you gave us a minute ago. Some characteristics are a random value instead of a number. For example, a model's move characteristic might be 2d6, or a weapon's attacks characteristics might be d6. When a unit with a random move characteristic is selected to move, determine the entire unit's move distance by rolling the indicated number of dice. For all other characteristics, roll to determine the value on an individual, per model, or per weapon basis, each time that characteristic is required. So if you're rolling for the unit to move, you just roll 1 dice, and that's the however many dice it says. So in this case, 2d6. You roll 2d6, and that's the entire unit gets that amount of movement. If you're using something that has a random amount of shots, so what was that pistol again? Yeah. So if everyone had that pistol, which was D3 shots, and there's 5 people in the unit, then I have to roll 5d3 to find out how many shots come from the unit. I'm missing a bit on chat. Sorry, I'm just catching up a bit. Yeah, you do that, Twisted. You go check stockpile of stuff from the past. It's always good to have a bit of a stockpile of medication just in case you can't get the shit you need. Well, yeah, it's not good. It's not good, is it, mate? You look after yourself and make sure you get the something, because that pain's not nice. Where are we up to? I get so distracted so easily, don't I? We are here. Aura abilities. Bring it up so we can. Okay. Aura abilities. Some abilities affect multiple models or units in a given range. These are known as aura abilities and are tagged with the word aura. A model with an aura ability is always within range of his own aura ability. So he gets the benefit from it. So if he's got a 9-inch thing, it's in the center, so it benefits. A unit can be affected by more than one aura ability at a time, but if a unit is within range of the same aura ability more than once, that ability only applies once, so it only stacks. It doesn't stack. So if you've got 2 auras that each give +1 to attack in melee, you only get the benefit of one of those auras. But if one of them is giving you +1 attack in melee and the other one's giving you sustained hits in melee, you will get both. Very handy. I don't think there's going to be many over-the-counter meds that are going to help him at the moment, Alex, to be quite honest. Final section for this is psychic weapons and abilities. Some weapons have abilities that can only be used by psychers. Such weapons and abilities are tagged with the word psychic. If a psychic weapon or ability causes any unit to suffer 1 or more wound, each of those wounds is considered to have been inflicted by a psychic attack. Psychers have a bit of a downfall, because although they do psychic attacks, their psychic attacks may not have any special rules attached to them apart from psychic. That psychic or psyker keyword means other armies that don't have psychers can use but have access to anti-psyker weapons. I just got to rip through them so quickly. Again, going back to the psychophage, they have anti-psyker 4+, I believe, on their torrent weapon. So against Grey Knights, because everything's got the psychic keyword, including the vehicles, it's gonna mow. It's just gonna there and wound really easily. Obviously, not as good against non-psychers. That is page 38. Excellent. Well, that is nice to know, that Twisted. That is very nice to know. It is a good thing. You're right, Ali. If it can get through without medication, then that's excellent. Then when you get the medication, it's going to give you an extra boost. And what do we have here towards the end of the issue? We only have 1, 2, 3. We only have a few pages left, and it's the scenario 23. Big guns never tire. As the tendril of a tyrannid hive fleet snakes through the unregarded subsystem, a Chaos Space Marine army is caught in its path. It hastily assembles a defense force and sets off to battle, leaving only a single unit of Havocs to guard their rear from stray Tyranids. So, to play Big Guns Never Tire, set up your battlefield as shown below. Okay. Then follow the deployment instructions. The game ends after 5 battle rounds, and the player with the greatest number of victory points wins. Each turn, the Tyranid player will need to use the table that is on the next page, so keep close. So keep it, pardon me. So keep it close while playing. Right. So that's your 4x4 using battle mats 1 and 2. So battle mat 1, battle mat 2. You set up the 5 Havocs all like right down the middle of the board there, 1 in the center, 2 either side. The Winged Prime up at the top on the other side, and then 5 Termagants down at the bottom. How to win. The Chaos Space Marine players gain 1 victory point for each enemy unit that is destroyed. The Tyranids player gains 1 victory point for each friendly unit that makes it to the exit point. At the end of the movement phase, any Tyranid units in the exit point are removed from the battlefield. So you've got to get them all the way over to this section here. The game lasts for 5 battle rounds. The player with the most victory points at the end is the winner. If both players have equal victory points, then the game is a draw or a tie. So this is the page it wants us to keep a track of, because if the Chaos player's killing off units and the Tyranid player is just running to the other side of the board, then you're going to need more units for the Tyranids. So deployment table. During the command phase in each of their turns, the Tyranid player must roll a d6, and then, if they have enough models, deploy the resulting unit in the indicated deployment zone. You will need to use the map below alongside this table. So you've got deployment zone 1 in the top left corner and deployment zone 2 in the bottom left corner. You roll a d6, and if you get a 1, it's 5 tournaments. All right, so it's the same. So if you get a 1 or a 4, it's 5 termagants in either deployment zone 1 or deployment zone 2. If you get a 2 or a 5, it's 2 barb gaunts in either deployment zone 1 or deployment zone 2, depending which one you actually get. So if you get a 5, it's 2. If you get a 2, it's 1. So 1, 2, and 3 are all deployment zone 1. 4, 5, and 6 are all deployment zone 2. And the last one is if you get a 3 or a 6, you deploy 1 Von Ryan's Leaper. That's a bit. That's not. I mean, it's okay. You only got a unit of 5 there, so it's not too bad. But 1 shot off the las cannon, that Leaper's gone. That's all it's going to take. The las cannon shoots him, the rest shoot that. Or in this case, the sergeant might want to shoot something different. Havoc Plasma Gun. The Inspiring Champion's Plasma Gun can fire normal shots, or it can be supercharged at risk to the operator. When it is supercharged, its strength and armor penetration and damage characteristics increase. It also gains Rapid Fire 1, giving you an extra shot when the target is close by. In this game, it would be best to use the plasma gun against nearby enemies, while other Havocs in the unit use their longer range weapons to target more distant enemies. So yeah, you use within the ranges. So if they're right up in front of you, then yeah, they're the target for any close range shots. Bang, 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 bang. Anything around the 36-inch mark will get your heavy bolters involved. Anything over 40, like 48 inches, is your las cannon missile launcher range. I could do my own scenarios actually. Change that for a different unit and have others coming out. So I could have Eldar, Tyranids, Chaos, just normal Astartes. And depending who I have as defenders, just run different army coming through. It is possible. You are right. I mean, I could. There's so many that I would love to do scenario wise. I just don't have the room at the moment in my living room. and nor do I have a spare room to be able to do it just overall. So it's give us the Havoc plasma gun. It's now going to go through the rest of the heavier weapons. So a Havoc heavy bolter. The heavy bolter fires a burst of powerful shots. It has good attacks characteristic and also benefits from sustained hits 1. So any critical hits of a 6, will give you an additional hit. Yeah, it's ideal to use against infantry units with more than one model. In this game, it would be great for targeting units like the Barb Gaunts and the Turbo Gaunts. However, it is still capable of damaging tougher individual models if they become the priority target during your turn. With enough 6s, you can hurt anything with anyone. So, yeah, it is a possibility that you've got nothing else to shoot at, just throw everything at it, and it might get lucky. The chain cannon, that's what that's called. Just skipping to the end there while I remember the name. The Havoc las cannon. The las cannon fires a single, very powerful shot a long way. The best use for a las cannon is to target models with high wounds characteristic and a good save characteristic to make the most of its excellent armor piercing characteristics and its impressive damage output. In this game, it would be ideal to use it against tough and powerful enemies such as the Wing Prime or the Von Rein's Leapers. Not only does it pack a punch, but it can reach almost anywhere on the board. With a 48-inch range, it can reach anywhere on the board. Missile launchers. Missile launchers can fire either frag or crack missiles, meaning it can be effective against both troops and vehicles. The missile launcher has a huge range, again 48 inches, and on a battlefield made from 2 mats, it can reach pretty much every corner, same as the las cannon. In this game, it would be very effective to use frag missiles against the infantry formations, like all the Gaunts, and the crack missiles against the tougher ones like the Von Rein's Leapers and the Wing Prime. And lastly, we have the Havoc Reaper chain cannon. Now, this is the one that is really underwhelming for me. Stupid. Reaper chain cannons fire a flurry of shots over a shorter range than most of the other weapons in the unit. I think it's only a 24-inch. With its attacks characteristic of 8, it is great for gunning down both big, tough enemies and larger numbers of less resilient troops. It's not that good against the big, tough enemies. Okay, I think it's got strength 6, but no AP, damage 1. That's not good. In this game, it's ideal to use against any troops that get too close to the exit point, gunning down any Tyranids unit in range while the other Havocs concentrate on the enemies that are farther afield. So yeah, at the start, you've got to worry about those two, which is the missile launcher and las cannon. As you get a bit closer, it's the heavy bolter. Then as you get too close, they're going to open up with the plasma gun and the chain cannon. By that point, you shouldn't have much left. So, victory conditions. So, if Tyranids victory, the Tyranids make light work of the challenge, no matter how many of them are blasted away by the Havocs. More keep coming, and many of them have managed to get past to aid their fellows in the battle against the Chaos Space Marine army. If you're lucky enough to get a Chaos Space Marine victory, it is a resounding victory for the Chaos Space Marines. As soon as the Tyranid comes into view, they blast it into oblivion with their powerful arsenal of weapons. The main army is saved by the brutal efficiency of the Havocs. And of course, this one you can draw. So the Havocs destroy many of the Tyranids, but there are too many to catch them all. Some make it past to the battlefield to challenge the Chaos Space Marine army, but the hive mind is denied the full reinforcements that it was expecting. Yes, and they're saying you've got a chance to win on either side. Depending who goes first, I'd say it's in the Chaos Space Marines' hands to lose, really. They're going to be able to hit from quite far away across the board. There we go again. We have just a nice little picture in the background with a Watersmith up there. Chosen down here and a Mauler Fiend, as well as some Eldar units that we will not be getting, such as the Rangers. The only one we're actually going to see, they've got an Artak up there. They've got the Ranger with dual back. Out of all that, the only model we'll be getting is that big thing in the middle. That's it. Everything else you've got to buy separate from somewhere else. Bloody rip. And that brings us to the final back page. It's only been an hour. This is odd. This is a quick one. These two won't be, though. These two will not be. In the next two issues, we will be getting the two parts for the Hellbrute. So 37 will get part 1, 38 will get part 2. As per usual, first one will tell us how to put it together. Second one will tell us how to paint it. Now, this one has lots of fleshy bits and lots of armor. I do like that big hammer, though. Big hammer and a plasma cannon. You can't really go wrong with that, can you? I hope it gives us a full weapon option, so we don't have to use the plasma cannon. We could use either a multi-melter or an assault cannon or an auto cannon or something else. Plasma cannons have the ability to wound your own vehicles, so you can eventually, kill yourself if you're not lucky. So if we could change that for something a little better, like a multi-melter, I'll be happy with that. Multi-melter and hammer that'd be ideal. If not, plasma cannon's still good. Don't get me wrong. Strength 8, a normal strength 9 if you supercharge it. Obviously, strength 9 then becomes AP 3, damage 3, I believe, which is quite ridiculous. Quite ridiculous. It's actually slightly better than a crack missile. Not quite as good as the last cannon. But those will be next week's and the week after's issue that I will be putting together because it is a singular unit. As for the Havocs, though, I've got to make a decision. Do I make them into 8-bound? Do I try and make characters? Because there isn't that many characters, really, for the World Eaters. You can build up... I can make a Khan the Betrayer model. I could build up another Lord Executioner. Well, that's pretty much it as far as characters go. Khan the Betrayer and Lord Executioner. Everything else is either mounted or a big monster. So Demon Princes, Angron, Winged Demon Princes, Lord Invocatus, Lord of Juggernaut. They're all big creatures. There are only 2 small ones, really. One of them's a named character, so you can only take one, which is Khan. Other than that, you've got a loadout on Lord Executioners. You can only take 3, and I've already got one. So, not sure. I've got a feeling they will end up becoming either 8-bound or exalted 8-bound. When I have to have a look just to see which one looks more feasible, because some of them look a little bit chunkier than others. Now, if I do upgrade them, I've got to hope that I've got the right size bases. Now, I know I do have 3 of the 60s, so I'm not too bad with that. And obviously with today, I got 40s. So I've got 32s, 40s, and 60s spare, kind of. So once I find out what base sizes they actually go on, I can start planning how I'm going to make them into exalted or just standard 8-bound. That's going to be fun. That's going to be probably quite milliput or green stuff. I'm not looking forward to that. But that brings us to the end of today's issue. I do understand that I flew through the painting section because I've not done the painting section. And I didn't read the story because I like you to read the stories so you can get the full immersion from it. Saying that, I'm looking forward to getting that Hellbrute. After the Hellbrute, though, I believe we will be getting the Wraiths, the small Wraith constructs for the Eldar. And then after that, it is the Terminators. Good morning, Joey. Good morning. October 5th of October. What's happening on the 5th of October? Oh, shit. You're back over, aren't you? I've just remembered. You're going down to London to watch American football in an English football stadium. Which just makes me laugh. It just makes me laugh. 5th of October. Right. I'll get that marked in and see if I can. Wait a minute. 5th of October. Is Alan coming with you? Because I think he's trying to get something around that side, around that end. I'm not sure how well he's going on that plan, but I'm sure he's trying to get something around that time. So is Alan coming with you? I won't be able to do 2. So you're landing at Heathrow on the 3rd of October. That's the other end of the country from me. I will not be going to Heathrow. It's leaving the 7th. So you're here for the 3rd, around the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So you're here for 3 days and then you fly back on the 7th. Right, got it. I'm not sure if Evie's coming or not. Well, we'll have to find that out. And then if he says no, we're going to have to berate him to go in. Well, you've been planning it for years. You've not done it for years. Get your stuff sorted. Come over with Joey. I will just tell him, get it done, dickhead. I'm sure he'll respond nicely to that. But yeah, I'll give him a message later. Tell him, look, get it started, dickhead. Joey's coming over. You can come and watch football with him. I think he wants to come over for a little bit longer than a few days, though. So I'm not sure. It may just be an overlapping trip if he manages it. We will find that out. I don't feel like I've got a big chunk of bloody super glue on my cutting mat. I could really do with getting rid of, but do that off camera. I don't want to sit there going neat on camera. So yeah, I'll thank you everybody for joining me this morning. It was a quick one, which I'm kind of glad of because Monday was a 4-hour one and that's wore me out of it. I've still got to get ready for the gym and my legs aren't ready for it. So I will love you all and leave you with this one. I will see you next. Well, actually, see you tomorrow night. What's that? Don't know. Stop picking at things. Stop getting distracted. So yes, I will see you all tomorrow night to carry on with the Magical World of Sparkle and Oak, which I will be repinning some models to bases and then moving on, finishing off the last little touches on Sparkle and Oak and then going on to the Water Creatures. But now that I've got most of the ground floor done, I'm all right on that. Well, I've still got a couple of hours before I go to the gym, so I can get my legs working again, hopefully, because they've not been right since Monday. But yes, thank you everybody for joining me. Please drive safe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live stream that I do, which will be tomorrow if you're joining me. If not, Monday as usual for Models and Musings, and Wednesdays for the Combat Patrol. Drive safe. See you.